Okay, welcome everyone. I am just going to get, I'm going to say a little bit in the chat here, and I'm going to get on Facebook and let everyone know that we are here. So bear with me. And I hope you're having a great new moon today. If you want to, feel free to put in the chat how you're doing today. How's this new moon in Sagittarius affecting you? How is the solar eclipse affecting you as well? It's a little bit different from the usual new moon energy. I'm wondering if you're feeling that difference. I certainly am. All right. And I know some of you can't type because you're on smart TV, so no worries. But if you are on a computer or a phone, feel free to let me know in the chat how you're doing today. And also, just a heads up that I'm on my, speaking of smartphones, I'm on my computer right now. So this is just the camera on my MacBook, and it's not as good as my phone. It's not as high quality, but unfortunately, YouTube won't let you live stream from your phone unless you have a certain amount of followers or a certain amount of hours watched, of course. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the best things that you can do to help out my channel is make sure that you're subscribed and you're checking out the videos, and also make sure that you're sharing the content because that helps to get me more views as well. Okay, I'm just going to share on here that we are live. I don't need to schedule a post. Thanks. Facebook's all new. Okay. We are live on YouTube and talking about the solar eclipse new moon in Sagittarius. And one more place. All right. Okay, perfect. We have shared that we are here, and we've got a couple of people here. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, I'm great. I witnessed nature running full tilt this morning, like all the animals were looking for a new place to go to. Yeah, you sent me that message. So eclipses, specifically solar eclipses, affect nature and make nature a little weird. It gets a little crazy. So that's so cool that you witnessed that this morning. You know, even though we don't, see the eclipse here in North America. Now, if you're in South America, or I think in certain parts of like Africa, you might have been able to see the eclipse. But if you're here in North America, you definitely couldn't see the eclipse. But that energy, nature senses it even when we don't see it, and so it makes the animals a little wacky. They get off with their sleep schedules, and they can be a little weird, and then we can feel a little weird as well. So I'm curious, if you're here tuning in live, are you feeling a little weird or a little different with this eclipse energy that just passed through over the past 24 hours? And then also, how are you feeling with the new moon? So if you are just tuning in, or if this is your first time joining in with me, my name is Rachel. I'm also known as Vina Lene. Vina is my spiritual name. Lene is my feminine name throughout my feminine lineage. and I am a channeler of the divine. I am a moon priestess, and I hold these virtual moon circles every new moon and full moon, and sometimes on special astrological events as well. And I'm so excited that you're joining us, whether you're joining in live or you're catching the replay. I tried something a little different this time around with the last full moon that we just had in Gemini, and then this new moon in Sagittarius. I've done the virtual moon circles here on YouTube Live, and I've been doing these on Zoom for several months now. And before that, I did them on Facebook. And it's interesting that we are in an eclipse portal because eclipses are a time of second chances. So they're a time when we can experience a little bit of deja vu. And it's a time when we're presented with the same situation over and over, and we have the chance to make a different choice than before. And they almost even feel like a Mercury retrograde on fast forward. That's how I describe eclipse portals, because you have a lot of things from your past showing up. People, memories, events, experiences, circumstances, situations, choices, that crossroads with taking the same path as before, taking a new one. And I'm finding myself also looping back around right now and trying to make the decision of where I want to host these virtual circles going forward. And I said, I said about 3 to 6 months ago that I was going to get away from Facebook. I was really trying to get away from Facebook. And the truth is, personally, yes, I am trying to get more distance from Facebook. But when it comes to hosting these moon circles, I find that Facebook is the best platform right now. Now, if I had more followers or more watched hours here on the YouTube channel, then I'd be able to live stream from my phone, and that would make it a better quality video. But unfortunately, I don't have that. And then a lot of people have issues with Zoom, or they can't, they can't get it on their smart TVs, or they can't access it the way that they can Facebook. And so we are moving forward, as we have this chance to take one road or take the other, I'm going back to what we did before. I'm going back to hosting moon circles on Facebook Live. And these will be on the Vina Lene page. And the recordings, don't worry, if you don't have Facebook, the recordings will get put up on YouTube the next day and hopefully on my website as well. And fingers crossed that very soon I'll be able to live stream directly from my website. That technology just isn't there with the platform that hosts all of my web content. So thanks for tuning in and experimenting with me over the past few months, tuning in here on Zoom, on Facebook, but moving forward on December 29th with the full moon in Cancer, we'll be meeting for our virtual moon circle on Facebook Live. So there's that update. Okay, so moving forward from there, let's go ahead and drop in together. Let's all kind of ground in here, get into this space that we're collectively sharing. I'd like you to find a comfortable seat wherever you are. I'm just going to move this laptop back just a little bit. I'd just like you to see a little bit more of me so I can sit here on my bolster and get nice and tall as well. And I'm going to have you take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Just kind of let go of any tension. I need to shake it out a little bit. I've had a really busy, productive day. Okay, maybe inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And exhale to the heart. Just kind of breathe into the heart space. Maybe take a breath into the heart. And exhale, just let it all go. And welcome to this moon circle that we're sharing now together. Before we move further, I will build a circle bringing in the 5 elements here in this space. And I'd like to start with the earth element of jade. I always bring in the power of crystals and gemstones into my transmissions. And you could use this same crystal or gemstone in your own new moon circle, or right now in this transmission, or you can just take in the energy of the stone that I have here, because this will transmit through the ether to you regardless. So I'll bring it in closer, just so you can kind of see here that we've got this really nice jade crystal. Ooh, there's some shine. Yeah, you can see it. And jade is related to the heart chakra. So we're going to talk a lot about heart energy today. And jade kind of reminds us to really move through our heart space. So I'm bringing it in for that reason. And then I also feel like the color green is really related to like Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius is about exploration and growth. And I always think almost like, being in a forest full of green trees. And that's kind of the energy that we're in right now. And we can even see that, right? Because we're moving on towards Christmas time, and there's everybody bringing their Christmas trees inside, whether they're fake or real. And, maybe you're going for those winter walks in the forest or getting outside and looking at lights. There's a lot of greenery and trees, mistletoe, Christmas cactuses. My Christmas cactus is blooming at the studio. So lots of green. So I'm just bringing in that jade crystal tonight to connect to the earth energy. I'm going to place that right here. And then I'm also bringing in the earth element of Palo Santo. I always smudge our spaces for our moon circles, any sort of sacred space that I'm holding ceremony in. I want to make sure to cleanse that space. So I'm also going to combine this with the element of fire, and this starts to bring in an element of smoke or wind, and it's an alchemical process, and it just kind of shows us that transformation and change can happen, but sometimes we need a little bit of a spark of fire to make that change. And Palo Santo, I've been using this a lot in our circles because we've been really letting go of the dead things this past year. And Palo Santo is a dead wood. It's not harvested when it's live. It's harvested after it's been dead for nearly 7 years, sometimes longer. And it creates a resin once it's been dead for that long that creates this really beautiful, super cloudy smoke. We're cleansing tonight, eclipse energy. And it's a really nice smell as well. So Palo Santo is a very spiritual wood. It brings in a very spiritual smoke. And this also helps us to see the veil on the other side, to help us to see what we cannot see until we bring in another element, helping to understand that there's so much more out there to explore and learn and understand that we might just not understand yet. This also is a representation of the other side for communication, all of the entities on the other side that communicate to us and guide us, lead us, etc. Our spirit guides, our angels, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to let this kind of go out to you as well, moving through the ether, cleansing this space that we're sharing together, cleansing my technology I'm using to communicate with you so that our transmission will be nice and clear. And then I'm also just going to cleanse myself as I prepare to transmit whatever channelings need to come through that best serve this circle and best serve you. And we'll just continue to let that burn. Where is my shell? It's okay. I've got this right here to let. Oh, here is my shell. Couldn't find my shell. Let this continue to burn here. And we'll just continue to let that smoke rise up into the transmission. So we're also going to bring in the element of water tonight. And I'm bringing in the essential oil of lime for our transmission. And lime is the oil of the zest of life. And I feel like Sagittarius energy is very lively. And when you have the eclipse, you definitely have this spark or this reboot of energy, also bringing in kind of like a lively feeling to the energy that we're experiencing today. Lime really raises our frequency. Anytime you're using a citrus essential oil, you're moving up to the fruits of the tree. So it's a very uplifting oil emotionally. That could be orange, lemon, mandarin, lime, persimmon, bergamot, there's lots of different fruits on the trees that you can harvest oils from. So anytime you're using citrus, this is going to uplift your mood. We are in new moon energy. Gravity is stronger right now on the earth. That sensation in our body can pull us down. When you're feeling heavy, you might feel tired, you might feel moody, you might feel lethargic. This just helps to uplift you. And then also lime, bringing in that energetic sense of the zest of life. This is going to motivate us to go after what we want in this life. If you got my new moon Musings email today. That's the Sagittarius new moon mantra. I go after what I want. And so this lime oil helps us to do that. It just makes us go for it. It's like the Just Do It oil. It's the Nike oil, in my opinion. So I'm just going to take in a little smell of that. And of course, you can't smell. Maybe one day we'll be able to send smells through the ether. How amazing would that be that I could like share these Palo Santo scents and these lime scents? But if you have lime, you could bring this into your new moon transmission, or, you know, during this time, if you need to uplift your frequency. I'm just going to let this continue to hang out cap off here, just so that I can continue to smell it in our transmission. And of course, that energy of that oil will transmit through in a different frequency. You know, our oils carry frequencies, vibrational frequencies. And we as humans vibrate at about 62 to 78 megahertz. And sometimes these oils vibrate at higher frequencies. So they really uplift us and make us feel good. And those frequencies go beyond what we can see, what we can feel, right? They move beyond into the ether. I'm going to grab a little drink of water as well. Speaking of water. Okay, and then we have one more crystal, and this is just a personal crystal I bought this week, but I feel like it's appropriate to bring into this transmission because it's been sitting here in this space since I bought it. I think it wants to be here tonight. I have this beautiful angel aura rainbow quartz. And I've been looking for a really pretty angel aura rainbow quartz for a little over a year now. And now here it is in my life. And the computer is not going to do it justice, but I'm still going to send that energy out to you because it is so powerful in this piece. You can feel it. And all of these points, by the way, when you use pointed crystals, they enhance the energy. And there's a lot of points in this crystal cluster. So we're going to enhance the energy of our transmission today. I'm just going to place this right underneath the laptop. And with that, we have our elements. We have our earth energy, our jade crystal, our Palo Santo. We have our lime essential oil. This also brings in the element of water. Our smudging brings in our element of wind and fire. And our fifth element is the ether that we're sharing right now. And the ether withstands space and time. So even if you're tuning into the replay, this energy will still be potent and active for you. So with that, let's take a nice deep breath, circling the arms overhead like the moon. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bring them down to your heart, coming full circle just like the moon does every 29 and a half days. Let's do that again. Inhale overhead. Open mouth, exhale. And again, inhale. Any noise you want to bring in the transmission, just let go of that stress. One more breath. And relax and shake it all out. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Western zodiac, the Sagittarius energy of this new moon. We're also going to talk about the Vedic astrology, and we're going to talk about a tarot reading that I pulled for this new moon cycle. And let's start with the Sagittarius energy. So this is an energy that reminds us to be very lively, right? We've got a lot going on with the holidays. It's usually a time of high spirits, but in particular this year has been a little different, right? So you might not be celebrating your holidays in the same way. You might not be traveling like you normally would. And Sagittarius energy is a time of travel. It's a time of planning travel or taking travel or maybe just traveling to see family. But Sagittarius is the wanderluster and she loves to explore. And so you might be feeling a little restrained right now if you can't fulfill these travel needs or these exploratory needs. So know that this might be one of the reasons that you're feeling a little moody right now if you're feeling that way. Sagittarius energy is also known as the huntress or the hunter energy or archetype. And she's an energy of going after what you want. And I mentioned that, you know, the mantra that I've come up with for this Sagittarius new moon is I go after what I want. When you're hunting, you look at your target, you aim your arrow back, or, aim your rifle or whatever it is, and then you shoot it and you aim true. And I am vegan, so it's kind of a weird analogy for me, but I just think about a target, right? So I think about a target of my goals, my dreams, my target life, my dream life that I would like to achieve. And I'm going to start aiming my arrow or my energy towards that dream. This is the time to do it. We're starting to wrap up the year. By the time we reach the next new moon, we'll be in 2021. So this is also a time to really think about your intentions. It's a time we usually set resolutions with the new year, right? It's not necessarily the best supportive time to do that during the new year, like January 1st. But right now, with the new moon, it's the perfect time to start leaning towards those changes that you want to make in the next year. So if you have any new habits that you want to create, if you have any new ceremonies you want to start to incorporate into your life, maybe it's just showing up to do the new moon and full moon ceremonies, but whatever it is, it's a time to start doing it. One of the things that I've wanted to do for a while now is get back into reading. I've always been a bookworm. And then ever since I had my baby 21 months ago, where has the time gone? But with COVID and everything else, things have been crazy. And I just haven't read as many books as I've wanted to. And I have this wonderful stack of books that I want to get to. And I'm finally saying, you know what? I'm going to start reading. And so every night when I have my sacred bath, going to talk about that in a minute. But when I have my sacred bath in the evening, now I'm taking time to read as well. And right now I'm reading a very sacred book. I'm reading the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, and it's really shifting my energy. And I slept so good last night when I started to make that commitment, when I just took time to read in the bath instead of scrolling on my phone or whatever else. I slept a lot better last night. I had really vivid dreams as well. So Sagittarius energy is asking you with this new moon to start putting your energy towards your goals and your dreams, to start aiming your arrow towards your target life. Go after what you want. And this is where the heart energy comes in. So we've got this jade crystal in our transmission tonight, and jade is related to the heart chakra. The heart chakra is green. It can also be pink, but remember how I think about this green energy with Sagittarius, the exploring the wilderness, the wanderlust energy, growth and expansion through that exploration. There's a lot of growth energy in Sagittarius. It's a very expansive energy. And we're being called to do the same out of our heart. So it's time to do the things that we want to do out of our heart's desires, right? Maybe it's as simple as reading more books. Maybe it's something like traveling more or traveling more locally where you can, right? Maybe it's time to develop a new tradition. Maybe you haven't liked a certain tradition that you've had to carry out over the holidays. And now that things are different with the world, you have the opportunity to do what you want and to develop your own traditions. So this is a time to really move out of your heart space. And the heart is a very fiery element. It has a fire energy to it. Sagittarius is a fire sign. So we're being asked to ignite the fires of our heart, right? To spark that flame and to really move into this next year, into 2021 and into the near future, moving from this energy going forward, not moving out of the solar plexus in the ego way, right? Not moving out of the mind and the overwhelm, but moving from our heart's desire, because this is where we are most balanced. It's the center of our 7 chakras, the energy highway, right? So when we move from our heart space, we're moving from our most centered place in our energy body as well. Okay, let's talk about the Vedic astrology. And by the way, let me know if this is resonating with you. So if you're feeling this energy with the Sagittarius influence, are you feeling the need to do new things or start your dreams now, work towards your intentions? We'll talk about this a little bit more down the road. Vedic side, on the Vedic side of things, and I'm not an expert in Vedic astrology, but it is something I'm very interested in. I traveled to India 3 years ago, this time I was just getting back from India after being there for almost a month. And I'm just very fascinated with Vedic astrology because it aligns a lot with the Western side. And, it's older. It's an older astrology too. So it's got its own important aspects and insights as well. We are in the lunar mansion, or the nakshatra of Jyesta. And the Jyesta nakshatra is represented by the heart of the Scorpio constellation, or the heart of the Scorpion. So again, we've got this heart energy, right? This is influencing the moon, and it's influencing us right now. Scorpio energy is very transformative. Scorpio has 3 archetypes, and we talked about in Scorpio season, which we just got over. And in the Vedic side of things, we're looking at the Scorpio constellation, and we're looking at what knowledge we can bring out of that. Can we start to transform our own lives when we move out of our heart's desires? How different would your life be if you always moved from your heart? If you didn't let your ego stand in the way, if you didn't let your mind overwhelm you, if you didn't let your emotions overcome you, if you didn't live out of fear, if you just lived out of pure love and pure growth and expansion from the rhythms of your heart, how different would your life be? This is what this moon is asking us to look at now. And so just like the new moon reminds us of new beginnings and it gives us a chance to start over, this Jyesta nakshatra is also asking us to do it from our heart space. And if we do it from our heart space, we're really going to have a really amazing earthly experience. Scorpio reminds us of earthly energy. Scorpions are very low to the ground. We're having this earthly experience. We're here. We're in our human bodies. We're having this human life. We're living in 2020. This is the here and now, and we can't check out of that reality. So we have to figure out how to operate in this earthly world. And I promise you, Moon Tribe, that in this new world, in this new earth that is rising, in this golden age that is coming, it's an age of us moving from our heart's vibration, pure love, pure heart's desire, pure heart's fire. That's what's coming. And so we're asking, or the universe is asking us to start to live from that theme and from that concept and vibration right now. Okay, I'm going to grab a drink of water really quick. Okay, I want to talk about the solar eclipse, because eclipses bring in a different energy than a typical new moon. So I mentioned that, it's kind of like a time loop. It's like deja vu. We come back around to the same experiences, the same choices, the chance to take a different path or begin again. We're at a crossroads. And if you're feeling those sensations right now, this eclipse is giving you the opportunity with this new moon to truly evolve to the next level. Eclipse portals are like, I think about Mario, like if you grew up, I'm an 80s baby. So if you grew up on Mario, like Nintendo, Mario would jump through the pipe or the tube, and he'd go doot, 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 and he'd take a little time warp and he'd jump up to a couple of levels. You go to from level 2 to 8 or whatever it was. That's what an eclipse portal is. So back with the full moon, this past full moon in Gemini, we jumped into the tube and now we're emerging out of the new tube, and we can either go back where we started maybe we don't make it through that level and we go back to where we were, or we move forward. So eclipses give us motivation. They give us energy. And if you think about the actual eclipse, so this is a solar eclipse, okay? So we had, if you were in Africa or South America, you would have been able to see the sun, and then the moon, it came over, right? And it blocked out the sun and it was black, and then it rebooted and resparked, and then the sun carried on. And so we feel the same. We're feeling a little bit of a reboot right now. We're feeling motivated to do something different, to make change, and to not go back to the way that we were before. So during this time, and even though the eclipse has passed, we still have a couple of days with this new moon Sagittarius energy. So for the next couple of days, really take time to ask yourself, where is your energy flowing? Where do you feel good? Where do you want to move yourself? Where do you want to point your arrow and let it go? Where do you want to direct yourself? Where are you feeling the call right now? And it can be with multiple things. Like, I'm feeling the call to read more books. I'm also feeling the call to learn more about my missing element, water. I'm also feeling called to push towards my new business venture, Sacred Bath Botanica. I'm feeling a lot of different things right now, but I'm feeling very motivated for change. So I want to talk about my own personal story just to kind of relate what I'm going through right now. And I live by the moon, and I have lived by the moon for about 6 or 7 years now. But each year that I've worked with the moon, I've learned deeper and deeper layers. So it started with me just understanding the new moon and full moon, and then it had me understanding the half moons, and then me understanding the different phases of the moon and how it relates to my own personal moon and my moon cycle. Then I learned about eclipses, and Mercury retrogrades and all these other things that happen with astrology. So with the moon in particular, when we had way back at the beginning, at the first of the year, I, pre-COVID really breaking out in North America, I had purchased 100 pounds of Epsom salts. And I had the intention of charging those Epsom salts underneath the moon. And I was going to start crafting Reiki infused, lunar charged bath salts with different essential oils and dried herbs and flowers. And then COVID kind of hit, and about a month later, after I picked up this 100 pounds of Epsom salts, and I kind of had to shut my studio down for 6 months. And I was unmotivated. I didn't know about starting a new business in the midst of all this uncertainty. And so those 100 pounds of Epsom salts just sat. They charged with one moon, and then they sat forever and ever. And then I started moving them around. Like about 6 months in, I started moving them. When we had the solar eclipse in Leo back in the summertime, I moved my salts up to kind of this space I'm in right now. And I moved them over here next to my altar and just kind of put them there. And then I kind of set them in the moonlight a couple times. And then I finally charged them with the full moon in Scorpio very recently. And I felt a call with this eclipse portal with the full moon in Gemini, the next full moon. I felt the call to start crafting these salts. And so I did. I started making up some salts, and I set them up at my studio because my studio is open now. And people were picking them up and using them and really enjoying them. And my husband's using them and I'm using them. And I take a bath nearly every night. It's my decompression time. It's a time, like I said, I'm reading this book now, The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is very relatable to the water priestess energy, which is something I've wanted to move my energy towards for a while now. But the bath is kind of my place where I release emotion and I relax. I prepare for bed. Sometimes I take a bath in the morning time to get motivated. It's just my sacred space. And so I wanted other people to be able to have this sacred space as well. And when you bring in the powers of oils, for example, if you bring lime into your bath, it's going to uplift your mood. So if you're feeling kind of moody with the new moon right now, maybe a drop or two of lime in your bath. Be aware that lime is a citrus oil. It's photosensitive, so you don't want to expose yourself to UV light for about 12 hours after you use that bath with lime. But otherwise, you're good. So, you can use oils in your bath. You can use dried flowers and herbs and plants. You can surround your bath with crystals and kind of, set that space and uplift your mood. And so that was something that I wanted to do. So I started crafting these salts. And then very shortly after, I said, I want to start making bath bombs. And I want to put crystals in the middle of them because I think that's like a really cool thing, because then you get your crystal in your sacred bath. And that's exactly what I did. So about a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I started making bath bombs with crystals with the after the full moon. And they've been a great success. And the name Sacred Bath Botanica just came to me in a bath one night about a week ago when I had first launched kind of like all of this, the oils and the salts and the bath bombs. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. So anyway, I'm moving this energy forward because I feel like it's come up in this eclipse portal because it's a second chance. You know, in this eclipse portal, the universe was like, Rachel, you have these salts. They're charged. They're good to go. You can start crafting. Let's do it. Like, let's take a different path this time. And so that's what I'm doing. And since I've opened up this portal, I really feel like things are taking off, and I'm really excited about it because now I have a new dream and a new intention and a new exciting thing to work towards in 2021. So that's my own personal just kind of like experience with this eclipse portal and what's come back around. And so I just use that as an example. But I'm curious, feel free to share in the chat, you know, have you had another circumstance or choice or experience come back around to you again right now? Another thing that's happened to me, I just wrote about this in my email that I sent out today, is that my sister has come back into my life after being gone for 6.5 years. She kind of ghosted out on me. It was kind of a mental health thing and some other things. It's a long, long story. I'm sure I'll write about it, but I've not known where my sister was for almost a year now. And she messaged me during this eclipse portal, and I feel like this is an opportunity for us to repair our relationship and heal this deep, deep sibling wound that we've both been working on. And we both have a strong mother wound together. And I feel like coming together is really going to help us to heal that, or what's left of those underlying layers of that. And so that's another thing that's happened to me. So people from your past might rise up during this eclipse portal, and it's for you to change the relationship. Maybe you need to cut the relationship, cut the cord. Maybe you need to set a boundary. Maybe you need to repair it and find peace. So this is what's coming up with me right now as well, and what may be coming up with you. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. We've talked about the eclipse. We've talked about the new moon, new beginning, starting to shift now versus January 1st. You know, January 1st is going to fall into the full moon portal. Our full moon is going to be on December 29th. And 3 or 4 days after that counts as the full moon portal. And so January 1st is going to leave us in a place of letting go. Perfect for the new year. New years are always a release of the previous year, a moving forward. So that's the energy you'll work with then, but it's not going to be a time to set resolutions and new goals. It's going to be a time to look at what you've already set and release what's standing in the way. So take right now to set the intentions with this eclipse new moon. This is the time to do it, or wait until about February, I think it's 10th or 12th, I can't remember, with Lunar New Year. Okay, we talked about the Vedic astrology. We talked about Sagittarius energy. We talked about my moon circles moving. We talked about my own personal experience. I think that's it. So we're going to talk about a tarot reading, and then we're going to do a real quick meditation because we've still got about 20 minutes here. I like to keep these at about an hour. But I want to share the tarot reading because it was really powerful. These cards that I pulled just minutes before going live here. So I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to share with you what's coming through with the tarot cards. Calling on the power of the tarot to bring us whatever messages we need to hear, any messages that will guide us into this future, guide us through this Sagittarius lunar cycle. Calling on the universe to channel through anything that needs to channel through me right now to those that are tuning in, and to understand anything that I need to channel through to myself as well. So typically when I pull tarot cards for our moon circles, I pull a past, present, and future card, and that is what I have done tonight. And when we have our full moon circle here in a couple of weeks, I'll do the same, and I'll probably pull a couple of bonus cards for 2020, or a bonus card at least. We'll see what I feel drawn to do then. So for our past card, I drew the Queen of Swords. There she is, gorgeous Queen of Swords. And personally, I always think Jai Kali Ma. I think of Kali, the goddess Kali with her sword, and she slays what no longer serves. And I have a very vivid experience of being in India 3 years ago during Sagittarius season and being at the temple of Ma's Lap in Bakwashwar, and having Kali come to me and tell me that she was going to slay what no longer served in my life. And I feel like she's certainly done that since then. And so this energy, the Queen of Swords, is an energy of protection. The Queen of Swords, she's got this sword because she's very protective of who she rules over. She's very protective of herself, and she's very protective of her energy. This past year, we have been very protective of others. We have been working to do different things to help prevent the spread of sickness. We've also been protecting our own energy, trying to figure out what works for us in this new groove of life. And, we've been slaying away what no longer serves. So this Queen of Swords is a great representation of us needing to let go of the past, to let go in this lunar cycle of what no longer serves our greatest good, maybe cut ties with things that are standing in our way, things that are blocking us, and maybe also being protective of our energy so that we don't self-sabotage. Remember how I talked about moving from your heart? This is the most centered space of your energy body. And so when you move from your heart space, you're really moving in a protective way. You're moving forward in your life in a way that's very protective of your greatest good. So this Queen of Swords, she has a red dress, okay? She's reminding us of our roots. She's reminding us of our old ways. She's reminding us maybe of things like traditions or things that have been carried out throughout our family or through our lineage that no longer serve. It's time to let go of the old traditions, the old ways, the old habits, the old everything that doesn't serve the greatest collective vibration and also your own highest frequency as well. She's surrounded in purple and a little bit of pink as well. And the pink is the heart chakra, and that purple is our intuition. It's third eye. So we're being reminded that when we move from our heart, we're also going to be moving a little bit from our inner guides, and those come through from our sixth sense, okay? The Queen of Swords, I said, it reminds me of Ma Kali. It reminds me of these entities of protection. And we brought in this angel aura quartz into our transmission tonight, right? The angels are protecting us right now. I've seen this time and time again. I've received these confirmations in Reiki sessions that the angels are protecting our planet Earth right now, and the other entities and the deities and our ancestors are protecting our own personal lives and our own personal worlds right now. And I've seen this in Reiki transmissions as well. I've seen a lot of ancestors in the presence of people that I'm doing Reiki with. So I know that we're being protected right now. Even in my own experience, my ancestors have come through. My dad came through today of all days. So we're being reminded right now that we're being protected, that, we need to move from our heart space, and that our old ways are just no longer serving this world. And for our present card, I have pulled the Tower. Oh, I love it. The Tower. The Tower, nothing will be the same from here. Everything is crumbling, right? Everything is crumbling. Our old ways are not going to be the ways that we rule our golden age and our new earth. And the Tower represents an act of God as well. You can see this lightning strike on the Tower. This virus there's so much that we don't know about it and we don't understand about it yet. And I'm sure more and more is going to come out in the future. But at this time, it really does seem like it's a bit of an act of God, right? We've had this act of God come over our entire planet, and we're making great changes, and things will never be the same from here. We're going through a great awakening right now, and it's still going on. So in present times, you're being reminded that you're going through that transformation, right? That Jyesta Nakshatra, the heart of the scorpion, and the scorpion can be painful. There's a sting, there's a bite, right? Even if you're in that eagle archetype, there's that beak and there's those claws and there's a little bit of a sting and a bite. Even if you're in the phoenix archetype of the Scorpio, there's the fire, there's the burn, there's the sting. We're going through the ring of fire right now, okay? If you are a mother, if you have given birth, there is something called the ring of fire that happens right as the baby is passing through. And we are going through the collective birth canal right now, and we are going through this ring of fire. So the Tower card is reminding us of that. Now, one of the things I love about the Tower card is it is represented over here by Jupiter. Okay. And we're going through the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that's coming up with winter solstice. And this hasn't happened in about 800 years, right? We've talked about the Christmas star. We're going to see the Christmas star on winter solstice. And this is Jupiter and Saturn coming together in their closest conjunction. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So even on this card where everything is towering, everything is crumbling down, we are going through an expansive growth process. Okay, so change is good. We're going through growth and transformation right now, and it's time to let go of your ego along the way. So yes, you are reflecting on 2020, and if you're like me, and if you're like most of the world, you're probably looking back at all the things you thought you were going to do in 2020 that you didn't do. Maybe you're thinking about where your life is and you feel like your life is falling apart and you feel like you're crumbling to pieces and you feel like everything is just like uncertain, right? If you feel that way right now, it's not necessarily your fault. This is an act of God. This is a collective change that's going on, and nothing's going to be the same from here. Therefore, nobody on this planet can be the same going forward from here. So everything you've experienced in 2020, even if it's a bunch of letdown and disappointment, it is setting you up excuse me, for the growth and expansion and transformation that's coming in your life in this new earth. So embrace everything that you didn't do, that everything that you did do, everything that you did do because of everything that you didn't do, right? Just be grateful for where you are and be excited about the changes to come. Okay. The Three of Swords, future card. And the three's been coming up a lot lately, and 3 is a very feminine number. You know, we're moving into a more collective matriarchy instead of patriarchy as we shift into the golden age, and 3 can represent the 3 trimesters of the life cycle. It can also represent the well, I say the 3 trimesters of pregnancy, but also the 3 seasons of the life cycle. So birth, life, and death as well. You know, this is also a representation of that transformation that we're going through. The swords are reminding us that there's still things that we're going to have to sever. We're still going to have to cut ties and cut cords. We're still going to have to slay some things out of our life in order to lift ourselves up. You know, we've got to cut those ties that are holding us down so that we can rise up. And the 3 of Swords is reminding us of that. This particular card represents the possibility of the ending of a relationship. Okay, so this might be an actual love relationship. This might be a family or friendship. This might be a business, but there's going to be a lot of things that are still going to die in the near future. And you need to just embrace that letting go. You need to surrender to the process, because this is a card that reminds us that when we let go, we establish new roots. And when we actually make the appropriate ties from our heart space, we're doing what's best for ourselves as well. So we're surrounded with this pink energy of this card, and we've got this red square in the center. Red is root chakra, pink is heart chakra. So again, we're being reminded to let go of the old ways and to move from our heart as we move forward. We're being reminded to vibrate from our feminine energy as well, which is very heart-centered. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick review. Past card, Queen of Swords. We're letting go of the past. We're letting go of old ways. We're being protected right now. We're protecting our own energy, and we're protecting others, and the entities and the angels are protecting us as we evolve and change. Continue to move from your heart and you'll be good. The Tower card, presently we're going through the great Ring of Fire, the great transformation, the collective change, act of God to make this shift, the great awakening. It's time to wake up. We're being turned upside down. Our world's being turned upside down. Nothing's going to be the same from here. Once this tower burns, it can't be rebuilt the same. It's that phoenix energy, the transformative energy that rises up out of the ashes, but it's something different and it's something new. So embrace this expansive change right now. Things that haven't happened in 800 years are making great change with this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction as well. And in the future, as we move forward, the Three of Swords reminds us to move forward from our feminine side, to move forward from our heart, to be gentle with ourselves, and to make the changes that we know we need to make, the changes that our heart is calling us to make. And if we need to end a relationship, it's time to end it and stop holding on, for it will help you to rise higher. So with that, I'd like us to do a meditation. As we prepare to end our new moon circle, let's take a moment to think about our life. I'd like you to find a comfortable seat. I'd like you to place your hands over your heart space. Relax your shoulders. Breathe into your heart a few times. Close your eyes. Just take time to slow down, come back to your body in the present moment if your mind was wandering. Ground into your center. And take a moment to breathe into all of the energy that you feel here. As you move into this meditation, I want you to do it with love. We're going to start by reflecting on the past, and I want you to reflect on that past with love, unconditional love, non-judgment. But I'd like you to look back on the past year of 2020 and just kind of look at all that you accomplished, all that you wanted to accomplish but didn't, all that you thought that would happen, but it played out a different way. Just reflect for a moment. And as you breathe into your heart space, I want you to also think about your future. This next year that's coming, and then just the future in general. And as you prepare to move forward, do you want to have the same things happen this year that didn't happen last year? Do you want to achieve the same goals, dreams, intentions? Are there new things now? It's okay to shift wherever you need to. It's also okay to hold on wherever you feel called. As you breathe into your future, think about what it would be like If you walk down the path that you're ready to walk down now, maybe it's the same path you've already been on. Maybe it's one you wanted to walk down during 2020. Maybe it's a new path you've been inspired to walk down, a new path that's been illuminated. What would your life be like if you took those steps and walked down that path? Take a moment to breathe into the changes that you see happening, the shifts that you see within yourself. Take a moment to observe this new life rising up now as you walk down this path towards your dreams, towards your target life. Take a moment just to breathe into any sensations, visions, anything that comes. And just for a moment, place yourself in the present moment. So you're no longer in the past reflecting on 2020. You're no longer in the future in your dream world. You're right here, right now, hands over your body, over your heart, breath moving through your heart. Feel yourself grounded, connected to the earth, connected to gravity, connected to this new moon energy, a time of new beginnings. And as you breathe into the present moment, ask yourself, what change do I need to make to move forward into that dream life I see in my future? What is one change that I can make right now? One new habit, one step. How can I take action right now in this new moon portal towards my dreams, towards the life that I want, towards what I want? What can I do right now? Breathe into what comes. And maybe take one more breath into whatever comes and clear your mind. And instead, I'd like you to bring in this Sagittarius new moon mantra. I would like you to say silently to yourself or out loud, say, I go after what I want. I go after what I want. I go after what I want. Take a deep breath in and out. And whenever you're ready, very gently blink your eyes back open. Welcome back from your past to your future. So take time to reflect on what came to mind. Maybe you have a new moon journal, or you just have some things that you'd like to write down from that meditation. You know, what came up in the past, what comes up in the future for you, what comes up in the present. What are some actionable steps you can start taking, or some new habits you can develop with this new moon, with these new beginnings? How can you really ground into this life right now, right? This lime reminds us of the zest of life in the here and now. Not this future life, not the past life that we want to dwell on that didn't happen. Make your life happen right now, no matter the circumstance. Live out of your heart space, no matter the circumstance. Have an unconditional love for your life, no matter the circumstances, because you are the creator of your reality. And in this new world, the quicker you realize that, the quicker you will rise. And with that, I think we will seal our circle. So thank you so much for tuning in with me to talk about this Sagittarius new moon, this new moon in the Jyesta Nakshatra, this total solar eclipse, total eclipse of the heart that's happening right now. And I'm sending you blessings on your journey through this lunar cycle and throughout the end of this 2020. I will see you again on Facebook Live on the Vina Lene page on December 29th at 7:45 Central Time to talk about the full moon in Cancer. And make sure to head over to vinalene.com and sign up for my newsletter or my free community. It's called Tribe. And I've taken a little break during the holidays because I know your inbox is slammed with stuff. But starting after the new year, that's where I share a lot of stuff that I'm into. So it's where I share all my information on yoga, breathwork, meditation, crystals, essential oils, self-healing, shadow work, all of it, all kinds of good stuff. And starting in the beginning of the year, I'll be sharing more there. And that's where I share most of my stuff instead of on Facebook. Facebook is just going to be the platform for my full moon circles and new moon circles. And also, just real quick, if you want to know more about Sacred Bath Botanica, that is a public Facebook group. So if you just go to the groups and you search Sacred Bath Botanica, or if you go to my Vina Lene page and look for groups, you'll find it there. And that's how I'm operating for now. I will get stuff on my website to order in the near future, probably not until January. But if you do want to do orders now, you can go to the Facebook group and you can order there. So I have lunar charged Reiki infused bath salts, and I also have Reiki infused bath bombs that contain crystals inside. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Blessed be on this new moon. I look forward to seeing you on the full moon. Until then, namaste.